Welcome back, and thank you for either joining or continuing on this journey together. It is always a thrill for me to know that you are here for these few moments of retreat from the noise and distractions of our world. As we have come to expect, this last week was as full of all of the concern and tumult of our world as our weeks have been during this time of COVID 19. And as I have shared with you, I know that I come to the end of many days, bone weary, not even sure what that weariness is about, except that our state of almost constant concern, worry, anxiety, and apprehension, even when it operates beneath the surface of our conscious minds, takes its toll on our spirits and our souls. Thus, my hope that this short time each week might provide a brief haven, a safe place to exhale, to let go, to release some of our internal holdings on, and to breathe. I find that this week, my mind has returned, unsurprisingly, I suppose, to the theme of uncertainty. There is so much in our lives right now that is just plain unknown. My daughter was trying to make a decision this week about her upcoming schedule, and we must have thought through 5 or 6 scenarios, at the end of each of which we concluded we'll just have to see. We'll have to figure this out as events unfold. I have come to believe that the comfortability of uncertain, I'm sorry, I've come to believe that the uncomfortability of uncertainty is what fuels much of what our cable news programs are about. Everyone wants to know what is going to happen. So the commentators oblige with prognostications that make us feel momentarily comforted, assured, confident, especially if the prediction coincides with our hopes. But in reality, this is not reality. It is prediction. It is intended to make us feel sure about something that is uncertain. We anxiously scan the newspaper, the television, the internet for statistics and data, for opinion poll numbers and national surveys. We are searching for reassurance, for confidence, for a sense that the world will unfold as we need it to unfold, even while we know fundamentally that this is not possible, that all of our wishing and searching and hoping will not realize our hopes. I am as uneasy as you are for not knowing, with not knowing, and not being able to depend on anything for sure. Thus, my thoughts have turned to our faith's attitude to insecurity, doubt, ambiguity. Some weeks ago, I shared with you a teaching I had read in which a colleague, Rabbi Toba Spitzer, shared her insight that, contrary to what many people might think, faith is not about belief and it is not about certainty. Quite the opposite. Faith is about the willingness to step into the unknown. She continued with the wise assertion that faith is not about belief and it is not about certainty. Faith is about how we confront uncertainty, not how we become certain. I am finding that last statement to be almost a mantra for this time. Faith is not about belief or certainty. Faith is how we confront uncertainty. This week's Torah portion is a remarkable lesson in the willingness to step into the unknown. It is entitled Lech Lecha. This is the portion in which we are first introduced to our forebears, Abraham and Sarah. Without fuss or fanfare, we read, Adonai said to Abram, "Go forth from your native land the place of your birth, and from your father's house to the land that I will show you. God goes on to promise Abram blessings, and blessings from those who bless him and curses from those who curse him. But the main idea is that God has commanded him to go forth, to leave what he knows. We read this portion every year, and this passage has become almost a cliche that our people's story begins with a journey, and the continuation of that journey is part of each of our lives. But it occurred to me this year, as so many things have, that we normally take for granted, that we cannot imagine how difficult it was for Abram to do what God was asking of him. For any of us, excuse me, I'm sorry. For any of us to leave this country and to make a new home for ourselves in a foreign place would be difficult, but not entirely daunting. Abram is being asked to leave everything he has ever known, to risk not seeing his father or mother, we may presume, ever again, or even of communicating with them. It is a complete breaking off from his past with absolutely no indication that there will ever be a return, even to visit. It would be like any of us being asked to move to the moon or outer space. However, Abram not only packs up his things and his immediate family and sets out, he does so without questioning God, without voicing reluctance of any kind, or admitting any fear or anxiety at the prospect. For me, this year, at this time in our history, that is what makes Abram the founder of our people and the exemplar of faith and of a new faith. Abram is willing to step into the unknown. He demonstrates courage and imagination. He is able to envision a reality that is different from the one he is living, and he sets out to live it and embrace it as his own. He is not bound by his past, by the expectations of his community, or by his own internal assumptions about the way the world is and must be. As Jonathan Sacks, Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, has written, a journey into the unknown is one of the greatest possible expressions of freedom. Lech lecha means leave behind you all that makes human beings predictable, unfree, delimited. Leave behind the social forces, the familial pressures, the circumstances of your birth. Abraham's children were summoned to be the people that defied the laws of nature because they refused to define themselves as the products of nature. That is not to say that economic or biological or psychological forces have no part to play in human behavior. They do, but with sufficient imagination, determination, discipline, and courage, we can rise above them. Abraham did. Lech lecha, in this sense, means being prepared to take an often lonely journey. Go by yourself. To be a child of Abraham is to have the courage to be different, to challenge the idols of the age, to swim against the tide, to speak in an age of relativism of the absolutes of human dignity under the sovereignty of God that was born in the words, Lech lecha. To be a Jew is to be willing to hear the still, small voice of eternity, urging us to travel, to move, to go on ahead, continuing Abraham's journey toward that unknown destination at the far horizon of hope. Uncertainty, it's in our heritage, it's in our history, it's in our bones. to live each day with a sense that we are part of something greater, something enduring beyond the present moment, beyond our current anxieties. We can do this. We have been doing it for centuries. We are the people that has hope in the face of despair, that looks forward when there is seemingly nothing to look forward to, that knows we will continue our journey because that is our destiny, our responsibility, and our mission for the future of ourselves, our descendants, and indeed, our world. Faith is not how we confront uncertainty, and it is not how we become certain. Faith is about the willingness to step into the unknown. So let us step into that unknown together. Let us assume our meditative positions. Let us sit at ease, but attentively. Our feet on the floor, solidly on the floor, in connection with the ground, the earth. Even if you're on the fourth floor, like I am, let's feel rooted. Let's feel present there. And let us lay our hands in our laps or at our sides or on the arms of our chairs. Open palmed if that is something that is comfortable for you. It can be another way of letting go. I generally close my eyes, but some people feel more comfortable just softly lowering their lids and gazing without focus. And let us take that breath, that full, deep, healing, restorative breath. Forgive the intrusion of my landline. It will go away very soon. Let us breathe it away. Oh, that in-breath of depth and of feeling our vitality into our insides, into all the corners of our souls and our spirits. We breathe in with that fullness, and let us breathe out the constrictions, the tensions, the limitations. We breathe in fully, completely. We might even hold on to that fullness for a moment. Feel how good it feels to expand, to open up inside. To recognize how we have closed off with the tension of our bodies, the onslaught of the world, the constant onslaught of facts and figures, of numbers, of counting, of waiting, of wondering. We breathe in, and with it, we release all that we can let go of at this time. It will return, but for now, in the throes of our uncertainty we breathe in a sense that we can go forward. We will go forward. And we will meet that uncertainty day by day, hour by hour, sometimes even minute by minute. That's all we have to do. As I have said many times and continue to say in my own head, we cannot relive yesterday or the day before, the week before. We cannot relive a moment ago. That is the nature of time. It goes forward. And yet, even as we anticipate what the rest of today may be like, what our plans are for the rest of the week, right now, we can't live those plans. We can only live this instant, this breath in, and this breath out. I'm finding myself breathing in an image of Abram and Sarai, willing to take those steps, each step of not knowing. How hard that must have been. How full of faith that if they just took each step, they would arrive in a place that would be right somehow. With that fullness, we let go. With that fullness, we live in this instant, the assurance that this is where we are right now. All of us, the whole of our bodies, our minds, our spirits. We breathe in that knowledge and we breathe out for this moment. The anxieties and the worries and the tyranny of our uncertainty. Faith is not about belief or certainty. Faith is how we confront uncertainty. Faith is not about belief or certainty. Faith is how we confront uncertainty. let us fill ourselves with our imagined faith, with our ability to confront uncertainty, moment by moment, step by step. That's all we need to do at any time. This moment, this breath, this step. And after we feel that fullness, let us equally feel the release. If you want to blow it out, go ahead. I have no illusions. Our uncomfortabilities will return. But we have this place to return to. This practice, this process of restoring ourselves, of restoring our faith. Forgive the technological difficulties. By way of conclusion, and even inspiration for the coming week. Inspiration, by the way, means the pulling in of breath, inspiration. I offer another of John O'Donohue's poems for a new beginning. In out-of-the-way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. For a long time, it has watched your desire, feeling the emptiness growing inside you. Noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered, would you always live like this? Then the delight, when your courage kindled, and out you stepped onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dream, a path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is at one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you. I wish you a week of faith, in the face of uncertainty, and feeling that your soul senses the world that awaits you, minute by minute, step by step, breath by breath. I will see you next time. God bless you, and God bless us all in this week ahead.